and he would talk about other actresses who do my role in this way where they were worthless whores, that they were fame hungry, expletive, just this. The point is, it felt really dirty, and the kids were on this press tour, and I was just concerned about them. I was concerned about them hearing us. Johnny screamed at me in the hotel room, and all I could think were the kids were in an adjoining room. What if they could hear us? I had just met them, and I didn't want them to think poorly of me. These kids were, I found them to be these beautiful, wildly intelligent little weirdos in the best way.
The trial of Johnny Depp and Amber has revealed more details about Heard's AB relationship than we initially imagined. People are now expecting Johnny's children to speak about the case after witnesses came forward to give their testimonies and the truth about Amber. We aren't anticipating Johnny's children to appear in court since he has previously stated that he does not want them involved. However, we have created a comprehensive video to help you understand Johnny's connection with his children, as well as Jack and Lily's perspective on Amber. Lily Rose has remained silent on Johnny's divorce case since the beginning of the trial, but she made sure to let the world know whose side she was on with an Instagram post. Johnny and his then-partner Vanessa Paradis can be seen having a rebirth experience with all their enthusiasm and happiness in 1999 when Lily Rose was born. He said during an interview, "It's the only thing that's ever happened to me, really the only thing, everything else is smoke." He further added, "Since May 27th, my daughter was born. I have been floating. I smile constantly, which I never did before. Everybody tells you what their experience is and you know it's going to be something. You know, sublime. But no, you just don't. Can't imagine until it happens. You see, this little angel arrives. I mean, for Vanessa and I, the both of us have been just floating. It was no surprise that they felt heavenly at this time. Lily Rose and Johnny have always had the strongest father-daughter relationship." Lily Rose defended her father in a since-deleted 2016 post by showing a childhood photo of herself with Johnny, quoting, "My dad is the sweetest, most loving person I know. He's been nothing but a wonderful father to my little brother and me, and everyone who knows him would say the same." She first came forward to support her father after Amber made her initial accusations against Johnny, but Lily Rose and Jack weren't just left with that post. The paparazzi began to swarm her while interrogating her about Amber and pressuring her to respond. The media simply wouldn't let her or Jack breathe fresh air without a camera while asking questions like, her family never loved Amber, or is it right for Amber to divorce her father shortly after her grandma died? Lily Rose and Jack had to conceal themselves in huge hoodies and sunglasses every time they left their houses because of the drama. Because the paparazzi had crossed the line while pushing Lily for giving her view and Jack suffering in school, Johnny felt compelled to take the initiative and explain his side of the story. During an interview with Daily Mail, Johnny quoted, "Lily's really together. She's a sharp kid and one of the smartest human beings I've ever met. Whatever she's doing, if she needs any advice, I'm there for her. Kids are going to make their own decisions, but I guess that's the only thing you could do as a parent is to offer support. And I do." Years later, Lily Rose mentioned Johnny's failed defamation trial in her debut interview with Entertainment Tonight and quoted, "You can't be perfect all the time. Nobody's perfect, period. I think that's just the fact of life, but I think a big part of keeping a good head on your shoulders is just having a lot of self-awareness and never feeling like you have to take yourself too seriously to put your actions back into question. I think it's always good to have a good self-reflection about the things you've done and always think about how you could be better." Lily Rose did not attend the wedding, making it clear to Johnny that he disliked Amber. Johnny stated it very clearly in her testimony at the trial, saying she and Miss Heard were not on particularly great terms for several reasons. Amber, on the other hand, had constantly flaunted her phony closeness with Lily Rose while making bogus claims. Heard revealed that she is a caring stepmother to Lily Rose and her brother Jack in an interview with Mary Claire in 2015. "An honor and the greatest, most surprising gift I have ever received in my life." She added, "I feel new flavors that I didn't know existed. New colors that I didn't know existed have been added to my life. I'm so happy." While in court, Amber began to discuss her close relationship with Lily Rose.
Loving his family and feeling like, more stability would mean more stability with him.
And demonstrated how protective she was of her stepdaughter. Despite only knowing her for a short time, Amber drew Lily Rose into her allegation against Johnny, accusing him of persuading his daughter to smoke marijuana. Amber said, "I felt protective over Lily Rose and concerned, and naturally they were not my children. It's not my place, and I understand that I know it's a sensitive subject, so I understand why Johnny got so upset with me." She also talked about how she tried to take a stand against Johnny for not encouraging his daughter to consume drugs in Court Libel in 2022, but she ended up getting hit by Johnny. Amber quoted, "But that and the introduction of the weed with his daughter, she was so young I felt protective. It's not my place and I made him really angry by weighing in on that." At this point, you can see Johnny's brows lift in surprise as she plays the Lily Rose card again without thinking about her still being a child. However, during his 2020 libel against The Sun over Amber's op-ed, Johnny has already refuted the charges, stating that he never encouraged my daughter to use marijuana. Finally, after 6 years of suffering and dealing with false charges, Johnny decided to sue her and tell the world the truth for the sake of his children and others connected with him. When asked why he has finally decided to come forward after such a long time, Johnny replied, "I wanted to clear up my children of this hard thing that they were having to read about their father, which was untrue. Since I knew there was no truth to it whatsoever, I felt it my responsibility to stand up for not only myself in that instance, but stand up for my children, who at the time were 14 and 16. Talking about his son and the messy divorce he was having in 2018, Johnny admitted to GQ saying, "I'm sure it wasn't easy for my 14-year-old boy to go to school. You know what I mean? With people going, 'Hey, look at this magazine, man. What, your dad beats up chicks or something? Why did he have to go through that? Why did my daughter have to go through that?' Because Jack does not utilize social media platforms, there have been no responses from his side on the topic. However, Lily Rose did post a local law enforcement statement on her social media profile about Amber's allegations, indicating that the officer who went to rescue Amber from the building found zero evidence of any crime at the scene. Furthermore, based on the comments made by the police officers in court during the trial in 2022, it is apparent that Amber had no visible injuries at the time of the DV call. Amber's AB nature, as well as every other fact, seemed to finally surfacing. Also, when discussing Lily Rose and Jack's relationship with Amber, Johnny described it as non-existent. Depp continued, "My kids are far more intelligent than I am. They refuse to be around her." This comment alone demonstrates how well Lily Rose and Jack understand her actual nature. Furthermore, Johnny stated, "They didn't like the way she treated me, which was written in a very elegant letter by my daughter actually to Miss Heard." Johnny revealed in a court a few days ago how Amber would frequently drag his children into the fight while constantly isolating him from his kids. He added, "Amber had to have me there at all times for her own needs." But if you think that's all about the story, then Amber's next statement about protecting Lily Rose will give you another shock. While testifying in the court the last time, Amber quoted, "This argument happened because I didn't agree that this gentleman, a famous musician over the age of 18, spent the night at the house. I felt protective over Lily Rose and concerned, and naturally, they were not my children. It's not my place and I understand it. I know it's a sensitive subject, so I understand why Johnny got so upset with me." She further added, "I started to feel very protective. Johnny's sobriety meant that he was there and then he wasn't. The nature of our lives with the travel and the work meant he was there and then he wasn't. She was so young, I just felt protective. I made him really angry by weighing in on that." But as per Amber, Johnny on December 15, 2015, ended up slapping her hard, grabbed her hair, and dragged her from a stairwell across the apartment. According to the article published in The Sun, Johnny shaved off significant portions of her hair. Amber's charges did not end with Johnny. She repeatedly cited Lily Rose in her trial, while seeking to incorporate her in the case despite opposing Johnny's decision. While talking about Depp's plane incident in his inebriated state, she told how she brought Lily Rise to Benihana for supper to cheer her up. She quoted, "Johnny was sick after having passed out on the plane, so I took her to dinner. We went to Benihana. I put on my smile, took her out, tried to make her feel loved, and celebrated for her birthday." While clearing up the fog, Lily Rose Rise came forth in an Entertainment Tonight interview to claim that she would never say never to working with her father. She shared, "That's really not something I consider first and foremost. What's interesting to me is the particular character that I may or may not be playing, and then the story that it's telling. But yeah, I love to work with great actors." What do you believe will happen in this case's next trial?